Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning. Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com with your morning horn disease, your sip of chaga coffee. Make sure you get your chaga. All right. Silver is doing what silver needs to do, climbing the wall of worry, up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit. Remember, at all times, the riggers can click a mouse and put the price of silver at minus $40. They can put the price of gold at minus $40. They can put the price of Bitcoin at minus $40. These are all computer rigged markets and exchanges, all of them. There isn't one commodity out there or stock or bond that they can't make the price show minus $40. They did it for oil, the largest market in the world. They can do it for silver. They can do it for gold. They can do it for anything. That's the mindset you have to have going into the insanity, because it's going to scare you what they do with the price. But the price is fake. Right now, I'm hearing all over the place that silver is in very, very, very short supply, like ridiculously short supply. So much so, even the COMEX has almost the lowest, I think it is the lowest delivery month ever in April. May is a silver delivery month, but in the in-between months, they have decent size deliveries. There's only 304 contracts that have been delivered in April because there is no more silver. They can put whatever they want, buy what you can, get what you can. Because we are very, very close to that moment where you cannot get any more silver, and you won't be able to get any more silver for, I don't know, a year, 2 years. That's how insane this world is about to get. And they have driven us to the brink, and we're standing on the brink, and these banks are so out of bounds. If you have anything left in the system, just be prepared to lose it. FDIC insurance is only good if Congress stays in session. But Bix, what do I do with my millions of dollars? You get it into something that will survive a crash. Silver, gold. Although if you do the analysis between silver and gold, you'll get to a point where every gold bug should be getting to. Silver is going to blow away gold. If you love gold, buy as much silver as you can right now. And then when the ratio turns to something normal, like 7-1, or ultimately it will go better than 1-1, then buy all the gold you can. If you love gold, that's your play. But in a world that has 100% controlled, computer-controlled derivative exchanges that set the price of everything, you might have to go through hell before you get to heaven. As in, they could put the price of silver to $1 with a click of a mouse. And will you be able to withstand it? Now, that doesn't mean you can go to your local silver store and buy it. No, they won't have any. They'll be trying to buy it at $1 too. Everybody would, in the real world, will be trying to buy it at $1. So we're hitting that point of silver scarcity. You know, the funny thing is, there's talk of like stopping electric vehicles now in Europe, stopping the mandate, because the mandate is impossible. We don't know how much silver goes into electric vehicles. The official number is 1.5 to 2 ounces per vehicle. Even at that, by 2050, there'll be 100% of the silver going into electric vehicles with the electric vehicle projection. It just does not work. And it won't take that time for people to wake up about silver. You just won't be able to get any. And then what about Apple Computer? What about Samsung? What about Sony? What about Tesla? All these companies that 100%, the ability for them to obtain physical silver is going to dry up instantly. And what would they pay? Do they have money to pay? Yeah, they're the largest corporations in the world. Could be taken down by the single fact that you're not going to get the silver you need. Now, people are saying, oh, you can use copper. You cannot get the same conductivity with copper. You can't solder pieces and parts together with copper and expect to get the same as silver. Silver's the best conductor. Just keep that in mind as we go through this craziness. It's not going to take till 2050 when electric cars all of a sudden, January 1st, oh my God, we've used the last ounce of silver. No. People are going to get off their ass and do a little due diligence and find out, holy shit, silver's been price suppressed, is trading at, by the way, we're better than 50% now. Let's say 55% of its all-time high in 1980 and 2011. This is a gift of a lifetime. Do not order online if they say, it'll take 3 weeks to get to you or 4 weeks to get to you. Get what they have in inventory. I always yell at people, say, use your local guys first. And then if you don't have a local guy, use Andy Scheckman. And say, I want to buy whatever you have in inventory. And if he says there's stuff coming in, it's on the way in, that's a little higher risk. I'm not saying don't get it, because that might be all you can get. But this system is very soon going to fall apart. And when it falls apart, you won't be able to get any silver. You won't know the price of silver. You won't know the price of cryptos. Remember, cryptos held in your own possession are another very, very, very good asset to have, because if the banks collapse, cryptos don't care. The people who have their cryptos in exchanges like Coinbase or Gemini or Binance or whatever you have, they'll lose it. But it's not like all crypto people have been screaming, get out of the system, get out of the system. Anyway, silver's doing well, up 25 cents. They're looking for a slam. But what would they need to slam? We're looking at the 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day moving averages are climbing. The longer that silver price remains above those moving averages, the moving averages move up. Remember, the moving averages used to be below $20. Now we're looking at the moving averages at $22.40, $23 for the 100-day moving average, and $21.25 for the 200-day moving average. Can they do it? Of course they can. Again, they can click a mouse. Are there technical traders, enough technical traders, trying to go long now for them to shake out the system? Yeah, little shakeouts. Can they get it below $21? Click of a mouse. Can they get it below $10? Click of a mouse. The big question is what they're going to try. Will the exchanges even stay open during the collapse of the banking system, which is a completely separate thing, but the same? They want to collapse this when the system collapses, when the banks fall down. They want it to look like, oh my God, I should have never invested in cryptos, and they'll click a mouse for that. I should have never invested in silver, and they'll click a mouse for that. And the regulators will attack, and Elizabeth Warren will say, oh, the cryptos are horrible things. Freedom is really bad. We have to control it. We need regulation. We need to save you from yourself. And it's just be spitting into the wind if you hold your assets in your own possession. All right. I hope everything makes sense on that front. Big day in volume, over 500 million ounces of silver, derivative silver traded on the COMEX. This is literally 2 or 3 banks trading back and forth to each other. A lot of activity lately in these strange exchange for physicals where you take your contract on the COMEX and you go send it to the LBMA for delivery because you don't want anybody to see you. We're going to try to be tricky. And then we had 3,700 contracts, which is 17 million ounces, that they were so afraid of the volatility in the price of silver, they said, I want to lock in the price right now. I don't want to wait till the close. I want it locked in right now. So all these, the COMEX is broken. The delivery mechanism is broken. People know that, it's like the Hunt brothers. The Hunt brothers, the big screw up they did was deal anything in the COMEX. They had massive amounts of physical silver in their own possession at the time, over 100 million ounces. But for some reason, they were playing the futures game, and that's what destroyed them. They had like 110 million long contracts or long ounces on the COMEX, and they shut him down. It's their game. It's their field. You cannot win this game on their field. That's why Warren Buffett and probably Elon Musk and maybe the U.S. Mint got the silver out of the hands of J.P. Morgan, not going through the COMEX. They signed separate derivative contracts in the OTC market through Bank of America. And those are being settled right now. Are they fully settled? I don't know. The price is locked in. The delivery is locked in. They probably already have it because of the derivative book that Bank of America was showing. Over 1 billion ounces of silver on Bank of America's books. And then they changed it to hide it from you. And the guy who changed it is a guy named, Greg Coleman at the OCC, the Office of Comptroller of Currencies, a regulator, actively trying to help JP Morgan, Bank of America hide a transaction. Of course, he was from JP Morgan. So we have completely regulatory capture. It's insane. Cryptos are looking good. They get a little bid. I don't know what's going to happen to cryptos in the chaos. Probably have a big shakeout of the shitty ones, and the good ones will survive. But it'll be quick, I think. Boom, boom. As the Fed floods money into the market to bail out everything. The everything bailout is coming. That's what Ruta wrote in the sand, in the original documents of Road to Ruta, a formula called On the Road to the Golden Age, which says, you want to go back to a gold standard? This is in the 1960s. The best thing you can do is print as much money as possible. Print to infinity. Soaking up all the benefits of unbacked fiat money by build your roads, your bridges, your houses, your military. But then flood the entire system with electronic blips, known as money as we call them these days. That's exactly what's happening. The Fed is bailing out the world, bailing out foreign countries. Every central bank in the world is printing as much money as possible. It's not just the U.S. It's not going to be a takeover by China and Russia of the world's reserve currency. No, that's not going to happen. Nobody wants that position. The insanity is that it's a faith-based system. We're not going to have faith in unbacked fiat money or in backing. You can't back the U.S. dollar without full redeemability. That Rubicon was crossed back in 1971 when France said, "Okay, we have all these dollars. You're printing as many as you can. We want to cash ours in for gold." And Nixon said, "No, you can't cash it in for gold." So that backing premise has been broken, and it will be broken forever, for at least the next 1,000 years. That's, in my mind, that's what it takes for generations to forget about the real bad times, the real crimes, allowing somebody else to hold your wealth. We aren't going to forget about this for a very long time. When people end up, oh, where's my 401k? It's gone. Where's my bank account? It's gone. Where's my FDIC insurance? They don't have the money. And oh, by the way, Congress is gone. This is an amazing lesson to be learned. In your possession or nothing. And we will have chaos. Oh my God. So much chaos. Just be prepared for it. Sit in your lawn chair and watch the show. But cryptos are doing well. My favorite cryptos are, I think Litecoin is really coming to the forefront. Because as the banks collapse, we need a means of exchange. And I've always loved Litecoin as the best means of exchange. I even wrote a song about it. And for me, one of the best things about Litecoin is it isn't really controlled by the crypto cabal that controls Bitcoin, the core developers. And as people run to new assets, yes, they'll run to Bitcoin. Bitcoin will go to $1 million a coin. But the Bitcoin people, it takes so much for a traditional finance person to buy Bitcoin. They won't get into the other cryptos right away. But from Bitcoin, they'll go right to Litecoin. Even the Bitcoin core developers love Bitcoin. Long-time Bitcoin hoarders, Bitcoin-only type people love Litecoin because they say, oh, it's a test net. It's a test net for Bitcoin. But it's cheaper and it's faster. The biggest thing, it's undervalued right now. The Bitcoin to Litecoin ratio is at 300 to 1. At some point, it's going to go to 4-1. It's so similar. Charlie Lee invented something so similar to the silver-gold ratio issue. Although that issue is only 80-1. The Litecoin Bitcoin problem is it's 300-1. Litecoin is massively undervalued. And when we need a means of exchange, which we will need a means of exchange as these banks collapse, I think Litecoin is just sitting there waiting to get put into use. Matter of fact, Gary Gensler said there's only 3 cryptos that are not securities, and that was Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Gary Gensler wants to be the decider. But those are only 3 he said. Those are not securities. Just keep that in mind. All right. Ethereum did their Shapella hard fork, and it turned out great. So, yeah. Ethereum will be there as a platform to run things on. But so will Theta. Theta is the future. Remember that. If you like watching videos, Theta is the future. It solves so many problems. And, oh, by the way, Amazon, Sony, Samsung, all the people who will need to invest in having their own blockchain in the future. We'll use Theta because you can create your own blockchain off of Theta now, but it will be approved using the validator Guardian approval system on Theta. So, I mean, you can't have your own cryptocurrency where you control all the aspects of it. Like you're in charge. Amazon would be in charge of the Amazon blockchain that they control the blockchain. That can't happen. You need a third party to control the transactions. That's what one of the things I think is huge that Theta came out with. And people keep asking me, why is Theta not going back up? They're doing all these perfect things. People like to chase the shiny object. We saw it when Theta went from 4 cents to $15, $13. People chase shiny objects. Theta will last throughout this insanity, and then people will say, okay, what are our solutions for the future? Oh, by the way, Theta's right here, expanding broadband locally, sharing broadband. The world won't have the money to rebuild the infrastructure and build it out for a high-tech future. That's another thing that Theta will do. Not to mention decentralized streaming. They're doing that now. They're doing everything right. But you want to buy things when they're low, not when they're high. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of buying Theta, buying Litecoin. And then my third of my 3 favorites is Veritasium. Veritasium is a lottery ticket. If Cliff's data is correct, which truthfully I see it happening, we need to fix our exchanges because they're all rigged. The only way to do that is with peer-to-peer transactions. That's what Reggie Middleton invented. That's why the U.S. government gave him his patent. That's why Japan gave him 2 patents. Because that technology can fix the con that was set up in the exchanges. Under Reggie's technology, you can't set the price of silver or gold or stocks and bonds to minus $40. It fixes that problem. Now, that's farther down the line. And it is literally a lottery ticket. And by the way, Reggie's, 98 million Veritasium tokens? They haven't gone anywhere. They're still frozen by the SEC. There's huge plans underfoot. I just don't know how long it'll take. And the Veritasium market is so tiny right now. I mean, I think in the last 24 hours, $2,000 worth of Veritasium traded hands. Imagine if the billionaires tried to get into Veritasium. Yeah, we'd see numbers that Clip was talking about, that Veritasium would surpass the price of Bitcoin. We'll find out, right? Buy your lottery ticket today. And all you XRP people, you're still living in a dreamland. Here's another article about, this is the BIS. The BIS has created Project Icebreaker. It's, we don't want the BIS controlling anything. But the banking system, if the banks are still up and running, entities like the BIS and the World Bank and the IMF will be controlling the SWIFT transactions. And that's just what Project Icebreaker is. It's being created by the BIS, which is the central bank's central bank, and it'll take the place of SWIFT system. So all you XRP people who got literally conned into thinking there's this thing called the, what did they call it? It's the quantum financial system. All you people who got conned in thinking, oh yeah, these big banks need XRP technology. No, they don't need it. It was just an invention by the people who were promoting it, mostly from Ripple Corporation, so they could continue to sell their XRP into the market and run away. That's my take anyway. I'm not a fan of XRP. As you guys know, the only way XRP could survive is two ways. Two things would have to happen. Number one, the banks would have to stay in business. All the banks. And we know that's not going to happen. And number two, not only would the banks have to stay in business, the banks would want to give up control of the money transfers around the world. No, they're not going to do that either. So those two things that's not going to happen. And that's the only way XRP could be implemented as a alternative to the SWIFT system. But here we see the BIS, that's exactly what they're inventing right here, the Project Icebreaker. Yeah, there you go. In my investigation of various CBDC programs and how quickly they're progressing, I came across an interesting program called Project Icebreaker being run by the Bureau of International Settlements. Where does it say? Even specifically, here. Investigating further, I realized that the Icebreaker Hub, in theory, functions almost exactly like the SWIFT payment system used currently by governments and international banks. More than 10,000 financial institutions in 212 different countries use SWIFT network to transfer funds overseas for their clients. It is an incredible centralization bottleneck that gives its shareholders considerable power. As a point of reference, after the start of the war between Ukraine and Russia, the expulsion of Russia from SWIFT network was used as a weapon in an attempt to crash the Russian economy. Russia found ways around SWIFT because their trade relationships with major countries like China and India, but some damage had been done. Consider, however, what if monetary transactions were centralized through CBDCs and the BIS controlled the hub in which retail CBDCs are exchanged globally? That is what Icebreaker is. That's also what XRP is. Sorry, XRP. Are they getting? Are the banks of the world going to sign up with three ex-bankers who created a cryptocurrency, and then a bunch of crypto people would benefit greatly from the use of it, or will they just do it themselves? And I've said it for years. They'll just do it themselves. So that's my take on XRP. Anyway, I am talking to Jenny Moonstone, another big one. We're going to talk silver. We're going to talk, I think I want to get back into Litecoin with Jenny today, as well as other cryptos and which ones will do well. If you're not part of the private road at Road to Rooted, now's the time to subscribe, because at least for right now, we are still giving away the silver Ruta coin, the 1 ounce Ruta Lives coin. Hand-painted, double-struck, individually numbered, and mailed to your front door with every subscription and renewal. Go check it out. This is Bix. I'll talk to you.